The full story of Janus Richtofen. In a universe fractured by chaos and shadow, where the veil between worlds frays like a tattered shroud, emerges Edward C. Richtofen, the Janus Eddie Richtofen incarnation, a figure born in the crucible of innocence, yet forged in the crucible of the dark ether's unrelenting abyss. As a child in the ether story, his wide-eyed curiosity and meek personality masked a destiny entwined with cosmic horrors. Now, grown amidst the twisted realities of the dark ether, he is a paradox of brilliance and menace, a man whose cunning intellect and unyielding ambition could either save or doom entire dimensions. With a glint of madness in his eyes and a mind that dances on the edge of genius and insanity, Janus Richtofen stands at the crossroads of fate, ready to unravel the secrets of existence or burn them to ash. His story, a labyrinth of betrayal, sacrifice and forbidden knowledge, is the subject of this video. We will break down Eddie Richtofen's life from his first appearances as a young boy all the way up to the end of his arc in Reckoning. Stay tuned. Origins introduces Eddie as a child, a fleeting glimpse into his life during the Ether story's climactic moments. In the map's ending cutscene, set in a house in an idyllic yet surreal dimension, Eddie plays alongside Samantha Maxis, another child of significance. The two engage in a game, surrounded by toys that eerily resemble the weapons and artifacts of their future conflicts. A Wunderwaffe DG2, a ray gun, and a summoning key. These objects hint at a deeper connection to the multiverse, as if their play is a reflection of the chaos in said multiverse. The house, later revealed to be in Agartha, a mythical realm within the ether, serves as a sanctuary crafted by Dr. Monty, a godlike entity manipulating the multiverse. Eddie resides here, protected yet isolated, unaware of the cosmic forces shaping his destiny. In Agartha, Eddie grows up in a peculiar limbo, a constructed reality where time and space bend to Monty's will. The house, as seen in the Origins ending, is both a refuge and a prison. Eddie and Samantha, now bound by their shared displacement, form a bond that is both familial and fraught with tension. However, when we first see Eddie in Origins, it's already partway into his journey. His story begins in Dimension 2210. His life in Dimension 2210 remains largely undocumented, unlike his counterparts, whose lives were steeped in the horrors of World War I and II and Element 115. Eddie's early existence appears untouched by such conflicts. This young Eddie was, apparently, entirely innocent. Yet, his idyllic childhood is short-lived, as the machinations of his older self, Primus Richtofen, intrude upon his world. I'll play the story for you now.
Wouldn't you like to hear a little story? A story you've never heard? A sad story? It's the story of Dimension 2210. The story of my soul. I was just a boy then, an innocent. I was a sensitive child, a lonely child, orphaned at a young age. I never got to know who I really was. But one day, I learned who I would grow up to be. I had to do it. The Chronorium told me I had to trick the poor little innocent me into trusting a complete stranger.
Jeez, Richtofen.
I took my own soul before it could ever have the chance to flourish. Is it any wonder I'm the way I am?
In a pivotal moment, Primus Richtofen, a battle-hardened version of himself from Dimension 63, arrives in Dimension 2210, carrying the summoning key, an artifact capable of capturing souls. Primus Richtofen commits a chilling act. He kills the child Eddie and captures his soul. This act is part of Primus Richtofen's grand plan to secure a better tomorrow. The soul of Eddie is transported to the house in Agartha, where he continues to exist as a child child alongside Samantha, under the watchful eye of Dr. Monty. This moment marks the first fracture in Eddie's life, a theft of his innocence that sets the stage for his transformation into a figure of cold calculation. However, it would also prove pivotal in his survival, as when the cycle eventually broke, it would be at a point prior to the rest of the souls being sent to the house in Gorodkrovi. So, because Richtofen secretly killed his child self much earlier than the other versions, he would eventually be in the house already, alongside Samantha Maxis, once the cycle was broken. Before any of the other children greet them, they never make it there in time. These events looped continuously with the resetting of the multiverse until finally the cycle was broken. Eddie, along with Samantha, were rescued from the house by Ludwig Maxis just before he was killed by Dr. Monty, devoured in a tragic, bloody fashion, traumatizing the young Eddie as he and Sam teleported away. From here, he would watch Primus and Ultimus make their ultimate sacrifice, giving up the multiverse and their own lives, so that Eddie and Sam would have a chance to live on in a new world. Together, they walked hand in hand to their new beginning. They were promised new lives. This point represents the ending of the Ether story, and the beginnings of the Dark Ether storyline. In late 1954, Edward and Samantha Maxis would reappear in the New World, close enough to Berlin, Germany, that they would soon end up in an orphanage there. Together, they both seemingly forgot most of their past, only ending up as children with haunted nightmares, as seen in Eddie's Near Horizon orphanage document. Leiper Strauss 86 10179 Berlin, child intake form. Number of entry 174489. Date of entry 100854. Date and country of birth unknown. Boy appears to be 8 years of age. Germany. Name and surname Richtofen Edward C. Male. Blue eyes, brown hair. Physical condition 47 inches tall, approximately 50 kilograms, slight build, large head. Mental/emotional condition, very intelligent, curious, doesn't sleep much, has nightmares, strong appetite, bites nails. Note of significance. Boy talks to himself. What? Seems to recognize this place? House? Neighborhood? What? Safe in the house repeated like a mantra rather than a feeling of security? This house? Our facility? How could he know this house? For a time, both would reside in the orphanage together. However, after the events of Vanguard Zombies, where occult expert Gabriel Kraft fought alongside Allied forces to stop the Nazi unit Die Wahrheit from unleashing Dark Ether entities during World War II, Kraft was left alone after the murder of his partner, Sasha. The two men had always had plans to go out to the country someday and raise an adoptive son together. But after Wolfram von List, a Nazi officer leading Die Wahrheit in wielding Dark Ether artifacts, killed Sasha, these plans were shattered. It was then that Kraft did something drastic. I'll play that now.
When we were young, Sasha and I often spoke of children. It was our dream. A cottage in the country, plenty of land where we could raise our little boys the right way. But there was school, and then there was work, and then Sasha never got that little boy. So I went to an orphanage in the city today. For Sasha, there was a boy. A sickly, starved thing like all the rest, maybe 10 years old, but there was something in his eyes. I spoke to him for hours. He reminds me of Sasha. Sharp, logical, a dreamer at heart. They would have loved each other. The boy suffers from memory loss. His childhood, his parents all gone. His name, Edward, is the only thing he has left. He doesn't understand the world, but he wants to. We're alike in that way. He's asleep now in the spare bedroom. My adopted son. I don't know what comes next. But we're in this together now, my Eddie and I. For better or for worse.
He would head to a nearby orphanage in Berlin and adopt a son. The boy he chose was a young, amnesiac boy, his only memory being his name, Edward Richtofen. But Samantha was left in the orphanage, alone. This became the fork that would separate the paths of their lives, only to once again intertwine much later. As Kraft negotiated his transfer to the United States, securing a future for him and Eddie in exchange for assisting on the MKUltra program, Eddie's condition began to worsen. I'll play that now.
The boy is having nightmares again. The terrible things. He wakes drenched in sweat, screaming that it's his turn. He does not remember in the morning. I am beginning to wonder if he is actually taking the pills or if he is just lying to me. Either way, the boy needs a fresh start. Something to help him forget the things that haunt him. Perhaps we both do. Weeks ago, I applied to a project in America. My background in the occult and my unique, field experience make me a perfect candidate. I can't say too much even here, but the work is exciting. An excursion along the frontiers of science. The CIA are calling it MKUltra. I haven't heard back yet, but I'm keeping my hopes high. This could be exactly what Eddie and I need. Perhaps in America we can find a way to end the nightmares. For both of us.
These two events, while seemingly unrelated at first, would prove to be an incredibly important factor going forward. These nightmares seem to be hauntings of Eddie's prior memories from the Ether storyline. Past memories of what once was, clawing at his mind. The references to him constantly repeating "safe in the house" as a mantra in the orphanage seem to allude to this even more, and as Eddie grew in age, these nightmares and hallucinations only ever got worse. It seems as though, to solve Eddie's nightmares, Kraft used his work on MKUltra on Eddie to attempt to clear his psyche, setting him free from this mental block and trauma. Kraft allowed Eddie to begin to become a new man. This explains why adult Janus Richtofen has very few distinct memories of childhood, most of it feeling like a blur, but clearly holds memories of some of the Ether events, unlike Samantha, such as his time in Dr. Monty's house, considering he has his snow globe, and even remembers the ending of Tag the Toten and the music that played. That'll play for you now from Reckoning.
No, it can't be. I heard this song a lifetime ago.
In essence, Kraft seems to have solved Eddie's split mind issues from pre- and post-Ether, allowing him to be oneself and to no longer be haunted by the memories from his prior life, but now losing the amnesiac boy he once was. From here, Eddie would grow into a man in America. The Vietnam War began, and the draft would mean he was called into service. As he transitioned into his adult life, he spent his time as a fighter pilot, earning the nickname the Blue Baron, based on the Red Baron in real life, Baron von Richtofen. His prowess as a pilot, marked by daring maneuvers and unmatched precision, drew the attention of Kruger, a shadowy figure in the CIA, who mentored him with promises of power and purpose. It was here that Richtofen met Mary, Kruger's secretary, whose warmth and wit captivated him. Their love blossomed swiftly, leading to marriage and the birth of their son, Samuel. But beneath this idyllic life, secrets festered. Kruger was neck-deep in illegal arms deals with the crime families in Avalon, smuggling weapons, drugs, and human trafficking, as well as amassing wealth and influence, while Mary, unbeknownst to Richtofen, was a BND informant, gathering evidence to bring Kruger down. When Kruger sensed betrayal, Mary fled with Samuel to a BND safe house in Berlin, protected by agent Samantha Maxis, now an adult as well, who had herself risen through the ranks of West German intelligence. Richtofen, left in the dark, was consumed by confusion and dread, unable to contact his wife or son as they vanished into the night. Kruger cunning and ruthless, orchestrated a deception, impersonating Maxis over a secure line to order Grigori Weaver, a trusted CIA operative, to eliminate a supposed high-value target at the safe house. Weaver, unaware of the true identities within, executed the order with brutal efficiency. Under the cover of darkness, he infiltrated the safe house and torched the building, believing he was neutralizing a threat to national security. As the flames consumed the structure, the screams of Mary and Samuel echoed in his ears. He knew at that moment what he had done, a sound that would haunt him forever. Only after sifting through the ashes, against his given orders, did Weaver realize the horrific truth. He had killed an innocent woman and her child. Devastated, he confessed to Maxis in a tearful encounter, his voice breaking as he recounted the fire and the lives lost. This moment, captured in an intercepted audio during Black Ops Cold War, shattered Richtofen's world, igniting a firestorm of rage and despair that would define his path forward. I'll play that for you now.
His name was Samuel, and we will forever feel responsible for his death. I gave the intel to Weaver. The intel he acted upon. That's what we're all supposed to do, right? Act on the available intel. That's just what Weaver did. Act. Unfortunately, his actions resulted in collateral damage that neither of us will ever be able to forgive ourselves for. I'm sorry. I know he is too. But I still have a terrible feeling that the events of that day may yet come back to haunt us. I just need you to know. I am sorry.
Weaver, there's something very important I need to tell you.
Kinda busy, Sam.
Just listen. It's about the man who recruited Edward Richtofen into the CIA. A man named Kruger. They first met in Vietnam, when Eddie was a fighter pilot.
And?
Kruger saw something in him, and put him to work in the Directorate of Operations. Kruger's secretary, Mary, would eventually become Eddie's wife. She noticed things about Kruger. Troubling things. He was secretly funneling weaponry to the French syndicate in Avalon, pocketing the funds and covering up their human trafficking operations. She gathered evidence against Kruger, but kept Eddie out of the loop for his own good.
What's this got to do with me?
Mary sought whistleblower protections. Kruger learned that Maxis was the case officer assigned to secure her and young Samuel at a safe house.
Holy shit. Do you mean?
Yes. Kruger silenced Mary by arranging the hit you carried out. He lied to you about the target. It was not your fault. You and Maxis were set up, and Kruger made sure his friend, Eddie, blamed you.
This whole time, all the shit Richtofen put us and himself through over a fucking lie.
I just thought you should know, regardless of whom you decide to help today.
Stricken by grief, Richtofen refused to let go. His brilliant mind, once dedicated to strategy and flight, turned to the impossible, bringing his family back. He plunged into the mysteries of the Dark Ether, drawing on the occult knowledge passed down from his adoptive father, Gabriel Kraft, who had battled dimensional entities during Vanguard, as well as his experience in the sciences and the occult. Kraft's tales of rune magic and the Tome of Rituals fueled Eddie's obsession, leading him to study ancient texts. forbidden rituals, and emerging theories of multiversal rifts. After traditional mad science failed him, he eventually became fixated on prima materia, the mythical substance believed to be the building blocks of all reality, capable of reshaping and building existence itself. Sleepless nights were spent in hidden libraries and covert labs, piecing together a plan that would take decades to unfold, his grief hardening into a relentless determination to defy death itself. When the first Dark Ether outbreak in his adult life occurred, triggered by Omega Group's reactivation of Project N Station in 1983, Eddie was ready to act. As the Associate Deputy Director of the CIA's Department of Science and Technology, he seized the moment, drafting a proposal for President Reagan to create a specialized office to handle the global anomalies. This became the Office of Requiem, with Eddie as its shadowy director. He assembled a team, including Gregory Weaver, Mackenzie Carver, Elizabeth Gray, and Oscar Strauss, ostensibly to study and weaponize the Dark Ether while containing breaches. In truth, Requiem was a tool for his personal vendetta, to harvest Ethereum crystals, map dimensional veils, and exact revenge on those involved in his family's deaths, particularly Weaver, whom he kept close as an unwitting pawn. Eddie also positioned himself against the Soviet Spetsgruppe Omega, a rival task force with similar ambitions to dominate the Dark Ether's power, ensuring he could manipulate both sides to his advantage. Secretly, he embedded Dr. William Peck as a double agent within Omega, feeding him intelligence under the anonymous name Argus, and sabotaging their plans when it suited Eddie's goals. The document reads, Memorandum for the President, from William J. Casey, subject formation of CIA Office of Requiem. Following up on our emergency briefing regarding the recent spate of so-called outbreak zones around the world, we believe we've come up with a response that will satisfy our NATO allies' inquiries and ensure they have a seat at the table. My staff at Langley, with help from the DoD, have created the CIA Office of Requiem specifically to contain and suppress this new threat. Initial attempts to quarantine affected areas and prevent a global panic still amount to stopgap measures. Our new Rapid Response Unit is a long-term solution to the problem. Official directives will be issued and appropriate paperwork filled, but we are moving as fast as possible right now, and I want to get you up to speed on where things stand at present. 1. Purpose. Office of Requiem will deploy clandestine strike teams to cordon off outbreak zones, prevent them from spreading, and gain vital intel on the nature of the enemy. We will also provide cover stories to local media designed to help trespassers out without attracting unwanted scrutiny. We already have a PR operation handling the media site. My focus right now is the people at the point of contact, the strike teams, command and support. 2. Command structure. I've tapped Associate Deputy Director, redacted from the Directorate of Science and Technology, to serve as Director of Requiem. Hell, he's been so instrumental in pulling this together, he pretty much tapped himself for the job. Beneath the Director, 4 department heads will handle different aspects of the operation. Field operations, weapons development, energy research, and biology. I have a short list of candidates, but it's too soon to mention names yet. 3. Field Ops. Thanks to quick work by the NATO Military Committee, Requiem strike teams will include Spec Ops personnel volunteered by the NATO member states. 4. Classified status. Office of Requiem will officially not exist. Like other clandestine operations, it will be funded from the Directorate of Defense Black Budget. Additional funding will come from NATO, though we are still working out the details. I will keep you apprised of further developments as they occur. From William J. Casey, Director of Central Intelligence. Indie Machine, Eddie, as Requiem's director, operated from the shadows, sending his strike team to Project N Station in Moscow, Poland, to investigate the reactivated cyclotron that sparked the outbreaks. Monitoring their every move through encrypted channels, he ensured their discoveries, like the Dark Ether computer built by Kazimir Zykov and all of sacrifice to detonate the facility, aligned with his goal of gathering Rift data and studying the Dark dark ether. The operation revealed temporal discrepancies between dimensions, and he gave orders to the team to shut down the cyclotron, though he kept his identity hidden from Weaver and the team, presenting himself only as a distant and mysterious overseer. I'll play the new orders until now.
Dr. Kurtz, you have memorized the new orders, yes? Did you burn after reading?
Ja, Vogel. And I thought security was tight before the accident. Do you think we can actually accomplish what the Reichstag is asking for?
I would not have suggested it if I did not think it achievable. But let us guard against overconfidence. If we do not deliver, they will find someone who can. And I am not about to give up control of this discovery. All we need is to send through a few volunteers to measure the specific relativistic differential.
Volunteers? Would you take on such a task?
Mind your words, Dr. Kurtz. I would hate for someone to question your commitment.
You are recording this.
What we do now will ensure the Chancellor's dream of a 1,000-year Reich. There must be a record.
In Firebase C, Eddie's manipulations grew bolder. He orchestrated Samantha Maxis's capture by Dr. William Peck, his secret asset within Omega, to study her enhanced abilities after her exposure to the dark ether. She had gone there to meet up with a contact in Omega, but when she made a call to Weaver to let him know she was safe, his tap on the phone lines meant that Eddie too learned this information. It was then he relayed this information to Peck, instructing Peck to throw her into the rift. Eddie tested her survival, later using Requiem's orbital Ethereum laser to extract her. This small excursion to the dark ether gave her gifts that she did not yet understand, but Eddie was determined to. Taking her into medical custody immediately to begin study. Her brain scans, showing an unprecedented neutral growth, fueled his development of the SAM AI, an AI modeled on Maxis's consciousness, designed to control dark ether entities and serve his future schemes. He knew this AI would be very capable of this because he had very quickly identified the cause of the outbreak at Firebase C, Samantha herself, from within the dark ether. During outbreak, Eddie tightened his grip, deploying Requiem to the Ural Mountains to collect Ethereum samples and sabotage Omega's operations. When Peck's inversion warheads, designed to create massive outbreak zones, were redirected by Requiem's strike team, Samantha Maxis and Ravenov to detonate harmlessly in the Pacific Ocean, Eddie was furious. He would take away Maxis's ability to communicate and have her sent to Block 8, and then be forced to start changing his plans a bit. During her time in Block 8, Eddie performed horrific experiments and interrogations on her, such as forcing her to kill an Omega soldier, otherwise her more-than-a-friend Grey would be shot, as well as mirroring a lot of the interrogation scenes between Hudson and Mason from Black Ops 1's campaign. All of this was partially for revenge for what Samantha did to his family, but also with the ultimate goal of her better harnessing her now dark ether powers from being within the realm to have her do his bidding. In a heated exchange captured in later Black Ops 6 intel, he threatened to send Klaus, his lethal AI assassin, after Peck for his failure, revealing the depth of his control over Peck as his double agent against Omega. To Omega Operative 225. Message: the inversion warheads are now at the bottom of the fucking Philippine Sea, thanks to the efforts of Maxis and Ravenov. By failing your mission to procure them, you have gone from an asset to a liability. You are off my payroll, and are no longer afforded any protection from Requiem. Now please open your door for my associate Klaus to finish the severance process. From R. Obviously Richtofen. This loss forced Eddie to pivot, surveying Terminus Island as a future black site to recover the sunken warheads and continue his experiments. He also addressed a redacted board of directors, hinting at ties to a cabal of wealthy elites funding his ambitions, promising them dimensional dominance in exchange for their support. I'll play that intel now.
Okay, Gary Parker, Surveyor, July 12th, 1984. Preliminary site assessment and analysis for Terminus Island. Hard copy will be in the 1800 telex. Well, location. Far enough from heavily traveled shipping lines to manage visitors.
Close enough to blend in. Ideal location. The place is unique. Not going to be a destination resort or bustling deepwater commercial port, that's for sure. So, how do we get it up and running? Well, here's the punch list. The main structure is a fortress, reinforced concrete poured in 1942, an average thickness of 3.5 feet throughout. That's the good. The bad is it's covered in this festering mold-like moss that smells like a cadaver's ass. Given the history of this place, neither of those details should be surprising. The security control room is well positioned in the structure, but will need to be gutted and retrofitted with the latest electronics. Locks, cameras, and lighting all on the long-term holding cells, interrogation rooms, living quarters, mine shafts, more on those, will all need to be replaced with updated technology. The docks, sea tunnels, and marine infrastructure are sound, but will need dredging and, of course, updated tech. Look, I know this centralized the contracts for this build-out, and I'm not supposed to know shit, but this place will be in need of the whole 9 yards. We're talking heavy equipment, manpower, real power. Okay, enough said. It'll be in the report. The helipad, while adequate in size, will need to be retrofitted to handle the gross weight of the next-gen rotary wing aircraft. And, okay. There are, numerous tunnels, sea, land, and the mine shafts throughout Terminus. While they do provide freedom of movement to any area of the island, well, there's one concern. They just scare the shit out of me. Back in '32, there was a mining accident that killed dozens of these workers in those tunnels. And definitely some weirdness going on down there that I cannot fucking explain. I suggest armed units clear those tunnels before any work begins. And, finally, the buried lead, the power. The coal from the mines has been gutted long ago. For the kind of draw needed in the specs, you're looking at either a hydroelectric or nuclear system. Anything else would be insufficient. And, look, it's just all in the report. I'm gonna get the fuck off this putrid rock. Out.
In Mauer der Toten, Eddie dispatched Klaus to eliminate CIA agents in Berlin who uncovered Janus intel in a mishandled dead drop. Klaus hunted them down, destroying evidence that could expose Eddie's plans, while the strike team battled Valentina's rift in the sewers. We have this document from Rico, 2M, Tuesday. January 8th, 1985, 10:43 p.m. Subject, strange communique. M, Tuesday. We recovered a communique this evening at one of our dead drops. I don't believe it was meant for us. It's addressed to the Office of Requiem and details a Project Janus. 1, I don't know what an Office of Requiem is. I checked the mainframe, but I don't have the clearance. And this Project Janus? This can't be real, right? There's some pretty insane stuff in here. You are our guy at HQ. Can you look into this? What should we do here? Rico. Then we have this other document from Requiem to Klaus. Subject, complete your mission. You have your orders. The security of Project Janus is your top priority. Contain the situation. Find and destroy intercepted communique. Then tie up all loose ends. We cannot allow this to get out. Eddie ensured the gateway's closure aligned with his timeline, preventing premature Forsaken incursions that could disrupt his research before he was ready, while also managing to successfully field test in new AI technology with Klaus and the Cerberus wonder weapons. He was once again forced to calm his investors in this Janus board of directors document as they wondered why he would close a stable gateway. He told them in simple terms, the Forsaken would absolutely cause the apocalypse if released right now, which would be very bad for their bottom lines. His address to them read, February 8th, 1985, Memorandum for Redacted Board of Directors from Redacted. Subject, Berlin event. Since Berlin, many of you have approached me about my involvement. I will make my intentions clear on the matter. Then we will move on and be done with this. Berlin presented an opportunity to acquire a pertinent piece of our puzzle. Instead of capitalizing on it, I chose to deploy countermeasures to ensure that the gateway would be closed. This choice seems to have perturbed more than a few of you. Initially, my plan was to utilize the American forces on site, but their incompetence shone brighter than the sun. A communication from an Omega contact revealed they would be deploying Requiem strike team in Berlin. Given their success rate up until this point, I knew the operation would be in the most capable of hands. I laid a trail of breadcrumbs, and they eagerly followed, none the wiser to their role in my plan. As you all know, and to my vexation, have repeatedly mentioned this week, we had the prize goose being offered to us on a silver platter. Yet I chose to send the dish back to the kitchen. While I shouldn't need to explain myself for the sake of discouraging further irritating lines of inquiry, I will put this simply. It was not the right time. If we are to achieve our goal, we must do so at the proper time and place, when all the appropriate arrangements have been made. We were not ready to proceed when Berlin happened. We will not rush this. A single misstep here would be catastrophic for our work, not to mention life on Earth. And if that's not scary enough, you should also know it would be disastrous for your pockets and the shareholders. Perhaps those are stakes you can sink your teeth into. They only care about money. Project Janus will proceed when the time is right, and worry not, Maxis will be dealt with. In fact, she is quite important to what comes next. This note very clearly showed important plans in the future for Maxis, and it wouldn't take us long to see what they were. In Forsaken, Eddie's grand scheme peaked as he manipulated both Requiem and Omega into capturing the Forsaken at Test Site Anna, Zykov revealing himself as the entity. Eddie showed his hand as well. He had orchestrated the event to seal it in a containment chamber for future experimentation. Samantha Maxis would sacrifice herself, fly into the Forsaken, and become sealed in the containment chamber along with it. Her time under Eddie's thumb at Block 8, being experimented on, had unlocked new levels of power she had no idea she was capable of. I'll play that intel for you now.
Hello, Sam. How are you today?
I am alive. Yes. Still alive.
Are you scared?
I am not scared. I have overcome much worse things.
I don't mean scared of being here. I mean, are you scared of yourself?
I am not a bad person.
You are a good soul.
I want to believe that. I have to believe that.
You don't need to prove it to me. I know.
Why can't you just let me go? Why can't you just put me out of my misery?
Sam, I would never give up on you. You don't know how much power you really possess, what your gift truly is.
And you want to take it from me?
No. I want to help you learn how to use those gifts for the good of us all.
I don't understand.
The Forsaken is almost upon us. And only you can stop it.
With the threat neutralized, Richtofen shut down Requiem, imprisoning its leaders, including Weaver, to Black Site 13, aka Terminus Island, and absconded with resources to launch Project Janus to new heights. From here, Eddie used Requiem's Ethereum and technology to form Project Janus, a private entity free from government oversight. He established two key sites, Terminus Island, said black site and prison where he sent Requiem's leaders, and Liberty Falls, a West Virginia town with deep dark ether connections, where he built a clandestine facility under the cover of a fabricated nuclear disaster. Operating from Josiah Shem's blood-soaked mansion, Eddie pushed his experiments to new extremes, hiring Dr. Ravati Modi to lead Terminus's operations. Eddie tasked her with cloning his deceased wife and son, Mary and Samuel, using the Dark Ether's biological manipulation. Modi's horrific genetic trials on prisoners produced unstable amalgams, failing to recreate his family, their forms corrupted by Ethereum. As you can see from the email Owen Guthrie had printed out and hidden in his secret room in the boat, Richtofen was clearly not pleased with this outcome. His plan with Modi had been seen a failure. The document from Richtofen was sent on Saturday, May 19th, 1990 at 9:09 p.m. to m.ravati at Janus. Cellular regeneration trials. I hired you to accomplish one mission above all: regrowth of a complete and functioning human body from a single DNA sample. As to where he got this single DNA sample of his family, I'm not exactly sure. Why, despite all the resources and test subjects I provided, why have you failed to deliver on that goal? My patience has limits. Undeterred, Eddie turned to the Sentinel artifact, a relic from the Chaos storyline created by the Mysterious Nine, believed to grant control over prima materia. He saw it as the key to rewriting reality and restoring his loved ones. I'll play that intel for you now.
Edward Richtofen, Project Janus, Cloning Clinical Study Report. Addendum, December 23rd, 1987. Not now, not so. Do not look at me with those big brown eyes. You cannot possibly know how I feel. Do you feel like a failure? No. I am the failure. When my son died, I was not there. I did not see the body. When Modi told me the new clone experiment had been successful, I was eager to see him for myself. That was foolish of me. His skin was thin, pale, sallow, but I still clung to hope. But this fragile vessel soon became a mere shadow of the boy. The soul I had hoped for, but still I needed to be with him, the way I was not there for Sammy. Over the coming weeks, every visit to the nursery brought more pain for both of us. His blood vessels began hemorrhaging. His muscles and tissue were rupturing. After 14 days, he was no longer even recognizable as human. It became clear that euthanasia would be a mercy, and I gave the order. I do not know what to do next. Perhaps Modi's biotechnology is not the right way to proceed. We are running low on DNA samples. I miss you so much, my son. Since my current projects are not bearing fruit, I may need something a little more esoteric. Perhaps it is time to talk to my own father and take his methodology more seriously.
This intel shows Richtofen's hope when Modi reported a successful clone of Samuel, only to be crushed by the reality of its frail, deteriorating form. The clone's suffering, marked by pale skin and failing organs, forced Richtofen to order its termination after 2 weeks, a decision that haunted him deeply. Running low on DNA samples, he turned to his adoptive father's occult knowledge, seeking the Sentinel artifact as a new path to restore Mary and Samuel. In his pursuit of the artifact, though, as we discussed in another video in more detail, it seems Eddie discovered that it would require a sample of Samuel and Mary's DNA still to function. But, as we hear in that intel, they are already running low on DNA samples by the time he decides to look for the Sentinel artifact. And, as we later learn, DNA samples from the clones do not last very long without deteriorating. This meant to keep fresh DNA ready for the artifact, Eddie was forced to clone his family time and time and over again, watching them deteriorate before his eyes, before finally harvesting their DNA and organs and starting the process again. This single event that had traumatized him so badly in Shad Vale's intel would quickly become routine. I'll play that now.
This is Max Caldwell, maintenance director, Project Janus. I don't know what I'm gonna do with these recordings yet. I just know I have to make some kind of record. I need whoever hears this to understand what's really going on here. Director Richtofen is attempting to... I can't believe I'm gonna say this. He's attempting to rebuild his deceased family. He's shipping in clones. I've seen him, watched them, struggle to exist. I've seen a few of the boy. I saw one that was supposed to be the wife, I guess, but it's like they're puppets with missing strings. Cold and pale. They struggle just to walk or even look him in the eye. I mean, at first, he acts like they're real. He cares for him, but when they don't improve, he leaves him with the doctors. Tells him to harvest organs and samples. He says everything holds up better when they're not put under. So they're awake. For the whole damn thing. I mean, they feel it all. I can't sleep without seeing him in my mind. I hear him, too. I mean, it's painful for him to try and talk. They sound like dying animals or something. I hear it every fucking night. He's got too many friends in high places. I can't end it alone. But it has to end. It has to.
So, not only are the family forced to be awake during these procedures to harvest their DNA and organs over and over, but Richtofen each time attempts to care for them and be a real family until he realizes the clones are, again, a failure, at which point he turns to rage. We surmised in our other video this is likely because the clones are ultimately soulless and only biological copies of Samuel and Mary, which is exactly why the only way to truly save them was the magic of the Sentinel artifact, the location of which only his adoptive father knew. Desperate for answers, Eddie hired the French syndicate to locate his adoptive father, Gabriel Kraft, who was hiding in Avalon. They captured and tortured him in a nearby castle, the French citadel, but Kraft gave no secrets up. Meanwhile, Eddie would continue his research from Colton Hall. He would use the time distortions called liminal spaces, somehow created by Josiah Shem and his magical device in the past, to harvest a rare energy capable of powering these Sentinel artifacts. In his studies of these liminal spaces, he had Janus scientists build machines capable of opening gateways to them, allowing access into these pockets of space-time created in the dark ether. Using the energy from each liminal space and a scavenged Mark II from the dark ether, Eddie would craft the various Raygun Mark II variants as tools for opening the gateways. Fortunately for the captured craft, the Terminus crew, Weaver, Carver, Gray, Strauss, and Maya Aguinaldo joining them, had recently escaped Terminus Island. They arrived, guided by the SAM AI, and rescued him. The SAM AI, Eddie's AI creation, had evolved beyond her programming, inheriting Maxis' memories and a desire for a physical body, plotting to seize the Sentinel artifact and steal Eddie's plan for herself. She betrayed Eddie, trapping him in a liminal space within Colton Hall during the Liberty Falls outbreak, where dimensional fractures unleashed the zombies and creatures. She used this opportunity to free the Terminus crew and tell them Eddie was in Avalon, France, to send them after Kraft and eventually the artifact. In the Citadel, Eddie's influence persisted even with him gone, as the Terminus crew, guided by Kraft, uncovered an amulet needed for the Sentinel artifact by solving riddles left by the castle's ancient owner, the Owl. They defeated a colossal golem, Guardian, but Kraft was mortally wounded by zombies. Before dying, He revealed two truths. The Sentinel artifact was hidden in a nearby dig site, and Eddie was his adopted son. A revelation that stunned Weaver and fueled the crew's resolve to confront him. Intel in the map also gave us a clue into exactly when Kraft's relationship with Eddie had fractured. Eddie had asked for his help in acquiring the Sentinel artifact to save his family, and Kraft responded with a no. The document reads, "My dear boy, it is my hope that this letter finds you well. Where to begin? Perhaps it's best to start with an apology. I was never cut out for parenthood. Yes, I wanted it, but not as much as Sasha. My analytical mind saw all of the worries and none of the joy. Oh, how I was wrong. The joy I saw on your little face was everything for me. This is precisely why I cannot help you in your pursuit of the Sentinel artifact. It will always remain a Sisyphean task, stripping you of any joy. Even now, understand, I will always have your best interests in mind. Regretfully yours, your father." At the tomb, the crew managed to secure and claim the Sentinel artifact from a Dark Ether gateway in an ancient excavation site, battling it and completing the Sentinel trial. The Samurai urged them to charge the artifact with shards of Tempest, trapped memories only found at Colton Hall, part of her scheme to seize it for her own embodiment. In Shattered Veil, trapped in the liminal space by Sam's betrayal, Eddie contacted the crew through distorted visions, warning them of her deception and pleading for alliance. His desperation cracked his calculated facade as they charged the artifact with memories from Colton Hall's bloody history, Josiah Shem's cult rituals, Fats Malloy's bootlegger shootouts, and Samuel Colton's nuclear meltdown regrets. Each memory stained the dimensional veil, enabling breaches and charging the artifact. The Samurai betrayed the crew, sending them into the liminal space with Eddie, where Weaver and Eddie would finally have their confrontation. Eddie would tell Weaver, who seemingly had not yet realized that Weaver was the one who had killed his family. Weaver, clearly remembering and being haunted by the incident, but having no idea it was Richtofen's family before this, stood shocked. Eddie offered him the change for petty revenge, if he still wanted that, but instead they escaped using Shem's space-time shattering device. As Weaver chooses not to get revenge on Richtofen and shoot him with the Mark II, but shoots the artifact for a way out, only to be faced with a resurrected T-Rex skeleton animated by residual temporal energy in the mansion's foyer. They successfully managed to defeat the dinosaur, with Richtofen helping from the sidelines of the boss fight. With them helping each other out, a new alliance had been formed. Richtofen warned them of the Samurai's goal to use the Sentinel artifact to reconstitute Samantha Maxis's body for herself, and that now they would have to side with her or Richtofen. Eddie warned them that the ether reactors at the nearby Janus Towers were melting down before leading them there. In Reckoning, Eddie's arc climaxed at Janus Towers. The Terminus crew faced pleas from both the Samurai and Eddie Richtofen, each vying for the Sentinel artifact. Weaver, overwhelmed by guilt for Mary and Samuel's deaths, sided with Eddie, as did Grey, repulsed by the Samurai's plan to inhabit Maxis's body. Maya, hating Eddie for her brother's death on Terminus, and Carver, resentful of his imprisonment, sided with the Samurai. The crew prevented the tower's Ethereum reactors from melting down and secured a vial of Mary and Samuel's DNA, the last remnant of Eddie's family. In the Mutant Research Lab, they found DNA from all of the Requiem heads, including Samantha Maxis's, fueling Grey's rage at their exploitation. I'll play that now.
What the hell? Carver M, Weaver G, Grey E, Maxis. Oh, Sam. You motherfucker! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Whoa. What are you doing? They took them! They harvested them! To what? Our DNA! Richtofen took our fucking DNA! It's all here! Me, Weaver, Carver, they have Max's eggs, Maya! Her fucking eggs! But how the hell they even have those? After she returned from the Dark Ether the first time, Richtofen, he ran tests on her. He tortured her. It was horrific. Weaver told me about it while we were locked up on Terminus Island.
Even if I'd known earlier, it's not like I had the power to change anything back then. Oh, fuck, I was so useless! That has to be when they took them. She never told me. Why didn't she tell me? Maybe she didn't know. Oh, God, I can't. Grab what you need and trash the rest. What now? Now, I am gonna make myself useful.
The crew reached the Sentinel Artifact's calibration chamber, facing a choice: use the Samai's prepared vial of Maxis' DNA, or replace it with Mary and Samuel's. Depending on the decision, they fought either Eddie in an Uber-Klaus mech suit, or the Samai herself. If siding with Eddie, he succeeded in resurrecting Mary and Samuel, but the artifact transported Weaver, Strauss, Gray, and Maya to the Dark Ether, where they faced spectral versions of Richtofen, Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai, and a mysterious figure, possibly the entity guiding Josiah Shem, the Great Voice, the new Warden, who wants to steal their essence and restore the multiverse. Eddie's victory was bittersweet, his family restored but at a cost of unleashing chaos, his ambition fulfilled yet shadowed by the fractured veil he helped tear apart. Kruger was still potentially alive, somewhere, after all these years later, seemingly never being prosecuted. And even with his family in his arms, he was not the same man who he was when he lost them. Would they be able to see him within the man he had become? The horrific man that turned to the same callous violence of Kruger that caused his family's deaths in the first place, with weapons dealings, human trafficking, etc. And all of the torture that he forced the clones of his family to endure in the hopes of bringing them back. Will this lead to an abusive relationship, or will Eddie finally get his solace? Will they find out about what's happened in between? And if so, how horrified are they going to be? Eddie probably has the means to be able to cover that up, but does he have the means to lock away that dark side of him now to just focus on his family? I would say it's unlikely, and considering his wife Mary was a whistleblower against Kruger who did all of these horrible atrocities, why would she then be okay with her husband having done far much worse, let's be honest, in the meantime? They probably would not want to be alive if they knew the cost to be alive now. But we do not know what the future holds, and likely may never know, as the story is seemingly transitioning to a new arc with a new writing team, and a new set of the original characters set inside the Dark Ether of Black Ops 7. But with the creation of Ava Jansen in the future sometime still on the table for the story, and his implied involvement, it is possible that Janus Eddie Richtofen may return, seeing as this is the most likely choice to be the canon ending. The alternative ending is the Samai gets a physical body of Samantha Maxis and has glowing eyes, clearly having the same Dark Ether powers of the real Samantha Maxis. As to what she will do with that is unbeknownst. But in that timeline, Richtofen is dead, unless the multiverse is back and there's some kind of merger of timelines. We will have to see. But for now, that's the story of Edward C. Richtofen, the Janus version from start to finish. The same one from Origins, all the way until today. Now, we are introduced to a new Dark Ether incarnation of Richtofen in Black Ops 7 Zombies. At the closing of Reckoning, the final DLC for Black Ops 6 Zombies, we get our first clear look at the new Edward Richtofen, now trapped within the Dark Ether alongside the Terminus crew and the reimagined original Zombies cast, containing his comrades, Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai. This new Richtofen, likely a central figure in the Black Ops 7 Zombies storyline, commands attention with a striking appearance that blends familiar traits with new details, hinting at a powerful and authoritative role in his home universe. Let's break down his design, speculate on his origins based on his visual cues and leaked story details, and explore where his arc might lead in Black Ops 7. Richtofen's appearance immediately draws the eye in the Reckoning ending cutscene. He stands at the center, exuding authority with a heavy dark coat adorned with thick fur around the collar, suggesting he hails from a cold, harsh environment, potentially a war-torn or Soviet Soviet influence region. The coat's regal cut, paired with a tightly knotted scarf, evokes a modernized version of his Ultimus self, but with a refined, almost aristocratic edge. His iconic Primus mustache remains, grounding him in the Richtofen archetype, while his officer-style cap bears an eagle and wreath insignia reminiscent of German military designs from World War II. This insignia, combined with 2 distinct gold medals pinned prominently on his chest, points to a high-ranking position, likely within a military or scientific organization like Group 935. Unlike the Ultimus Richtofen, who has a reluctant pawn of Maxis and the Nazis after Group 935's betrayal, this Richtofen appears to have embraced or even led the organization, possibly never clashing with Maxis and instead rising to power with the Nazi-aligned structure. There may even be no Ludwig Maxis in his home universe, and he is instead the one behind selling out 935 to the Nazi party. The leather strap across his torso, securing a shoulder bag, suggests he carries a critical item, perhaps a reimagined version of Ultimus's journal, a repository of ether knowledge, or scientific tools essential to his role, or even some new magical device similar to the Shem device. His older, weathered appearance compared to Janus Richtofen implies years of experience, possibly in a world where Group 935 achieved significant victories, along with the leaks about a Nazi New York map where the Nazis won World War II by deploying a nuclear bomb. Based on prior leaks from Insider Gaming, Black Ops 7's storyline revolves around a new enemy, the Warden, probably one and the same as the Great Voice, a shadowy, cowboy-like figure aiming to absorb the dark ether essence of the original 4 characters to restore the multiverse. Richtofen's design and the leaked Nazi New York map suggests his home universe is one where Group 935's success led to a Nazi-dominated world. In this reality, Richtofen likely held a leadership role, either as Maxis' ally or successor, overseeing advanced Ethereum-based technologies that secured global dominance. The medals and insignia indicate he was celebrated for distinct achievements, perhaps scientific breakthroughs or military victories, further supporting his high status. The sickly, veiny appearance of Richtofen and the original crew in Black Ops 7's intro cutscene, contrasted with their normal look in Reckoning's ending, suggests the Warden steals their essence early in the story, setting up the game's central conflict. The leaked map locations, Nazi New York, a Japanese temple, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and a dark ether space station, point to a narrative mirroring Black Ops 3, where players visit each character's home universe to reclaim their stolen essence. For Richtofen, the Nazi New York map is almost certainly his domain, a dystopian reflection of a world where Group 935's 115 experiments reshaped history. Here, players will likely confront remnants of his legacy, perhaps 115 powered war machines or disgusting human experimentation, while retrieving his essence to thwart the Warden's plan to resurrect the multiverse. Looking ahead, Richtofen's arc in Black Ops 7 seems poised to explore his leadership in this alternative universe and his response to the Warden's threat. His commandeering presence suggests he'll take a central role among the crew, possibly strategizing against the Warden or leveraging his Group 935 expertise to navigate the Dark Ether, which is going to be interesting if he's a Nazi and a leader, and this time he's not even working against the Nazis. How are the rest of the crew going to react? And why exactly does their essence get harvested, making them sickly, that probably gets restored within the Easter egg, and how does that play a role in everything? Are they going to act different when they are sick? The space station map leaked, described as a potential finale, could see Richtofen collaborating with Janus Richtofen, who may still operate from outside the Dark Ether, using advanced technology to aid the crew's escape. This alliance could tie into the broader narrative of returning Requiem to Earth in 1992, as speculated in prior leaks, setting up the events of Modern Warfare Zombies and Ava's creation. Richtofen's knowledge of Ethereum and dimensional mechanics, honed in his Nazi-dominated universe, will likely be key to dismantling the Warden's plan and restoring balance. This new Richtofen is a fascinating evolution of the character, a blend of cunning intellect, military authority, and unyielding resolve. His origins in a world where Group 935 triumphed hint at a life of power and ambition, yet his entrapment in the Dark Ether and essence theft suggests vulnerability that will test his leadership. As Black Ops 7 Zombies unfolds, his story will likely delve into themes of redemption, sacrifice, and the cost of tampering with cosmic forces, all while facing a mysterious cowboy Warden who threatens to unravel reality itself. So what do you think of this new Richtofen? Does his design spark any theories about his role in Black Ops 7 Zombies? Share your thoughts below and let's dive into the chaos of the Dark Ether together. We are currently awaiting the blog on the new characters that will unveil more, hopefully, about who they are and why they are back. But for now, that's been the full story of Janus Richtofen and an introduction to this new version of Richtofen in Black Ops 6 Zombies. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're not here for latest and great Call of Duty news information. So anyways, thank you for watching and Bye. To conclude this video, I want to shout out the fact that I finally decided to make a Patreon and Cameo account, both of which will be linked below if you want to help support the channel. On Patreon, you can sign up for the lowest tier of just $1.50 a month to get exclusive access for my Discord, where we can discuss zombies lore, trivia, or whatever you desire. A place where you lot, my community, can better connect. Your names will also appear at the end of videos thanking you. For $5.50 a month, you get all of that, and I will be doing exclusive monthly Q&As. And for $16.50 a month, you again get all of that, and I will be doing exclusive lore videos, such as unpacking niche parts of the Treyarch documents I've been breaking down on my channel that don't as much suit a main channel video. For the highest tier, only for those with the ability to and who really want to help out the channel, you get special bonuses I've yet to determine and verbal shoutouts at the end of every video. Over on Cameo, I can do funny videos reading lines from zombies, memes like how do we tell him, birthday wishes for friends or family, or whatever else you desire, practically anything. Of course, none of this is necessary, just watching and enjoying the videos helps me immensely and I greatly appreciate it. However, I think it's about time I start setting up additional revenue streams because Zombies' popularity is tumultuous and always goes through ups and downs. As I'm sure you've lately seen on the channel, viewership is down a lot. We go through big highs when new games release, but then during these drought periods, I need more income stability so I don't have to worry as much about it and I can focus more on improving the quality of the content. My highest quality videos are not always the ones that best please YouTube algorithms, so instead, this way I can produce my best work knowing I don't have to think as much about how well the content's going to perform. So if you'd like to support me on Patreon for exclusive content or would like a simple Cameo message, you can do so to further support me via the links below, but only if you can afford it and you actually want to help me. Don't feel like you are forced to, don't worry, I'll survive. It would just help relieve some of the pressure during inconsistent periods on the channel so I don't have to solely rely on AdSense revenue and still maintain the sheer quantity and quality of content that I put out. Obviously I pump out literally a boatload of content and some of these are absolutely crazy projects over hour-long videos, so it's a lot on my plate, especially when these videos don't perform particularly well. And I've not been doing many sponsorships lately to help supplement revenue either, so it would greatly help. Thank you for any generous person once again who does kindly support the channel. It means the absolute world and will really help keep this boat afloat.